So here you can see that is the lymphatic system of the body, which includes the lymph, that is the lymph vessels. So here you can see that is the all network of the lymph vessel. Then that is the lymph nodes. So here that is the nodules are present into that the different part. So that is called the lymph nodes. Then the lymph organs, that is the spleen and the thymus. So here you can see spleen, and here you can see that is the thymus gland. Then diffuse lymphatic tissue, that is the tonsils. So here you can see that is the lymph nodes of the neck, and that is the bone marrow. So the bone marrow, here you can see that is the bone marrow. The lymph nodes, the lymphatic vessel, the thymus gland, spleen, and the bone marrow. So these are the organs which is included into that the lymphatic system. So after then we should have to see that is the function of the lymphatic system. So here the function is that is the lymphatic system, the tissue drainage. So it plays important role into that the drainage of the tissue. Then second one, absorption in the small intestine, that is the fat soluble material and the vitamins. And the third important function which plays, that is the immunity, means the lymphocytic production. So these are the functions which is done by the lymphatic system. Then the lymph. So the lymph, it is the clear watery fluid similar to that the plasma, but contains the plasma proteins and the interstitial fluid. So here you can see that is the interstitial fluid is present, and where that is the arteriole and the venules, it should be formed that is the capillary network. So that is the exchange of the material. Here you can see that is the capillary network, and from this some fluid that should be enters into that the venules, and some they are enters into that the lymphatic vessel. So green color you can see that is the lymphatic vessel, this one. So it transport plasma proteins that sips out the capillary beds back to that the bloodstream. So also it carries the larger particle, for example the bacteria, cell debris, the damaged tissue, they are filtered in the lymph gland, and it also contains the lymphocytes. The lacteal of the small intestine and the fat absorbed in the lymphatics, which has the milky appearance called the chyle. After then we should have to see that is the lymph capillaries. So the lymph capillaries, so it originate as a blind end tube in the interstitial space. So here you can see that is the tissue cells, and here that is the small blind tube like structure, they should be present into that the interstitial space. So some structure like the capillaries having a single layer of the endothelial cell. So here you can see it should be forming that is the single layer of the endothelial cell, but their walls are very permeable to all the interstitial fluid constituting, including the proteins and the cell debris. So the tiny capillaries join to form the large lymph vessels, and the all body tissue have network of the lymphatic vessel except the CNS, bones, and the most of the superficial layer of the skin. So in this region, that is the lymphatic vessels, they are absent, rather than all parts of the body, that is the lymph vessels, they are present. Then the larger lymph vessels, so it is the wall of that the vessel that is the same like the small veins, having the fibrous covering, that is the outermost, the middle smooth muscle, and the elastic tissue, and the inner layer that is made by the endothelium, having many cup shape walls. So here you can see that is the cup shape wall is present, and whenever that is the fluid is enter, that wall is open, and the other then the wall is closed. So in this way, that is, it should be gives the flows into that the unilateral direction. So uniform direction, that is the fluid that should be passes. There is no pumping like the heart should be occurs, but the moment of this fluid that should be occurs to the muscle contraction and the pulsation of the large arteries. Then the lymph vessels becomes larger as they join together to forming the two large duct, that is, one it is the thoracic duct and second one that is the right lymphatic duct. Then they drain into the right and left subclavian vein respectively. So here in this diagram you can see that is this one. So this is the thoracic duct. Here you can see the thoracic duct which is open into that the left subclavian vein, and this is the right lymphatic duct, this one. So that should be open into the right subclavian vein. So let's see the details of this vein. It is the lymph node. So lymph node, it is the small bean-shaped masses of the lymphoid tissue which encloses the capsule of the connective tissue that occurs in association with the lymph vessels. So it is as a part of the lymphatic system. The lymph node, it is served as a filter for blood, providing a specialized tissue where the foreign antigens can be trapped, and it exposes to the cells of the immune system for the destruction. So they are typically founded in concentrated near to the junction of the major lymphatic vessel. Most of the prominently they are seen into the neck region, groin region, and into that the armpit region. Then the each lymph node, it is divided into the two parts, that is, one the capsule, here you can see, which is the outer covering of the lymph node, and second one that is the cortex, which is the inner part of that is the lymph node. The capsule, it is an outer layer of the connective tissue, and underlying that the capsule, it is a cortex is present, and which consists of mostly the inactive B and the T lymphocyte cells and the macrophages. Then this cortex that should be divided into the two layer, that is the outer and the inner layer, and this region, it is surrounded an inner medulla. It secretes the plasma cells. So these plasma cells that should be enters throughout, that is the afferent vessels into that the lymph nodes, and through the efferent vessels that the fluid, this fluid, it should be filtered into that the cortex, and then throughout the after filter that the fluid that should be enters or comes into that the efferent vessel, and then it should be the drain fluid. So that is the lymph nodes. So here that is the right lymphatic duct. So here you can see it is the dilated lymph vessel about 1 centimeter in length, and it lies in the root of the neck and opens in the right subclavian vein. So here you can see that is the right internal jugular vein, and that is the right subclavian vein. So here that the right lymphatic duct that should be open. Then it drains the lymphs from the right arm, the right thorax, the right half of the head, neck, and the face. So that is the right lymphatic duct. After then we should have to see that is the thoracic duct. So this one, that is the largest lymphatic vessel. So this one. So it will see into the another diagram, this one. So in this diagram you can see that is the lymphatic duct or the thoracic duct, largest lymphatic duct. So this one, green color, here you can see this the beaded appearance, you can easily identify that is the thoracic duct. So the thoracic duct, it is the largest lymphatic vessel in the body, and it extends from the upper part of the abdomen to the lower part of the neck. So there the abdomen is present, so it starts from the upper part of the abdomen and it should be ends into that the lower part of the neck, it crossing the posterior and the superior part of the mediastinum. Length of this thoracic duct, that is near about the 18 inches, and it has the beaded appearance. So here you can see that is the zigzag like appearance because the presence of many valves presents into that the lumen. Then course of the thoracic duct. So it begins the continuation of upper end of the cisterna chyli. So here you can see that is the cisterna chyli. So this one. Near to the lower border of the cisterna chyli, it should be present near to the lower border of the 12th thoracic vertebra and enters the thorax through the aortic opening. So from the abdominal cavity, it enters into the thorax throughout, that is the aortic opening of the diaphragm. Then it ascends or it goes upwards through the posterior mediastinum and crossing the right side to the left at the first. Here it should be turn on the right side, then turn on the left side, then at the level of 5th thoracic vertebra it runs through the superior mediastinum along the left edge of the esophagus. So here you can see that is brown color, that is the esophagus. So it should be goes on the left side of the esophagus. Then it reaches to the neck, and in the neck it arches laterally. So here you can see that is it arches laterally at the level of the transverse process of the C7 vertebra. Finally it descends in front of the first part of the left subclavian vein. So here you can see that is the left subclavian vein and ends by the opening into the angle of the junction between the left subclavian vein and left internal jugular vein. So here that is at the junction that the subclavian vein and the internal jugular vein, whenever they should be joined. So here at the junction, that is the thoracic duct that should be ends. Then we should have to see that is the relations of the thoracic duct. So let's see that is the relations of the thoracic duct. So first at the aortic opening, here you know at the aortic opening the 12th thoracic vertebra is present. So here that is the relations of the thoracic duct. So anteriorly it is related with the diaphragm and posteriorly that is the vertebral column. Then to the right side, here you can see that is the azygous vein. So this one. And to the left side that is the aorta, this one. Then in the relations in the posterior mediastinum, so here in this region. So the anteriorly the diaphragm, esophagus, so esophagus that should be comes on the lower side. So the diaphragm, esophagus and right pleural cavity. Then the posteriorly the vertebral column, the right posterior intercostal arteries, the terminal part of the hemiazygous vein. So here that is the terminal part. To the right side the azygous vein, so this one, and to the left side the descending thoracic aorta. So here this one. Then in the superior mediastinum means this part. So it is anteriorly it is related with the arch of aorta here, then the origin of the left subclavian artery that is in this region, then posteriorly same the vertebral column, then to the right side that is the esophagus which is comes on the downward side, and to the left side that is the left pleura. Then in the neck region, this one. So it forms an arch arising about 3 to 4 centimeter above to the clavicle. So here you can see, and the arch have the falling relations. So because of the arch, it should be turned on the left side, and here it gives that is the relations. So first, that is the anterior side. So anteriorly it the left common carotid artery. So here the arch of aorta is present, and from this the left common carotid artery is comes. Then the left common carotid artery, the left vagus nerve, and the left internal jugular vein. So here you can see that is the internal jugular vein. Then posteriorly, same, the vertebral column, the vertebral artery, and the vein, the sympathetic trunk and the branches, the left phrenic nerve, the medial border of the scalenus anterior, and the prevertebral fascia, and the first part of the subclavian artery. So these are the relations which is present into that the neck. The clinical points related with that the thoracic duct. So here you can see that is the thoracic duct. So first, that is the thoracic ducts have the thin walled and maybe it is colorless. So therefore sometimes it should be injured during the surgical procedure of the posterior mediastinum. The laceration of the thoracic duct during the lung surgery, it result in the chyle entering into the pleural cavity, producing the clinical condition that is called the chylothorax. Then the next clinical point that is related with that the thoracic duct, that is sometimes the filarial infection in the thoracic duct is obstructed by the microfilarial parasite, leading to widespread effect such as the chylothorax, the chyloperitoneum, and the chylouria, and even the accumulation of the chyle into that the tunica vaginalis. Then the next clinical point, that is the cervical part of the thoracic duct. So this one, it may be damaged during the block dissection of the neck, and it should be ligated immediately. If ligated, the lymph returns by the anastomosic channel, but if injury is not be detected at the time of operation, then it can occurs the unpleasant chylorous fistula and leakage of the lymph. Immediate ligation of the duct is required to stop the leakage of the chyle. So these are the clinical points related with the thoracic duct.